G'day everyone, Paul Stone here, CEO Biggin and Scott, and I'm joined today by David Lack and Will Jonas from the Port Melbourne office, who have finally recovered after the block. And when I say recovered, they've only recovered because they've finally worked out who all the serious buyers are after having done the block. Because they have 20,000 people at the open for inspection.
Right. Yeah.
We're in the month of February. The guys will give us a wrap up on January, and there's been some exciting things happening. And obviously, kicking off the year, you've got some new stock, and Port Melbourne's on fire.
Absolutely.
I regret the day I moved out, but I'll be back one day. So, how did it go during the quieter month of January, and how are we looking for Feb?
Well, look, the end of December was quite busy. We had quite a few auctions actually up to just before Christmas.
Yep.
And they sold really well.
Yeah.
So, we'll manage to sell a number of one-bedroom apartments for record prices.
Yep.
So,
it's good. We had one specifically that went for 620,000.
Yeah, right. And are these the older buildings, or are they the newer buildings starting to turn over a bit?
The better results we're seeing in the older buildings,
Yeah.
but the newer ones are now getting a bit more mature, and we're seeing some good results as well.
Yeah, because they are. I mean, it's incredible how quickly it all goes. Port Melbourne now, what we thought were going to be the slums of the future, they're $1 million homes, $2 million homes, and that was our line because we didn't get to sell them when they originally did the subdivision.
Yeah.
It's so listing-wise, how are we looking for February? You guys would have been busy in the last couple of weeks.
Very busy, very busy. Sort of been getting properties ready. The market's been starved of opportunity for about 6 weeks. And there's certainly, we can't see demand really slackening from last year. So
That's right.
The exciting thing from our point of view is we've got a really good range of properties coming up in February and March. So, we've got ranging from a really delightful one-bedroom apartment close to our office in Bay Street with a big courtyard, could possibly be converted to two. That should sell around 500 or better. Some really great two-bedroom apartments that are, some with water and city views, and I mean they're ranging anywhere from mid-700s up to well over $1 million. 4 or 5 of those. We have a bank house in the Garden City precinct, which we sold over 20 years ago to the current vendor, and they're moving on, and that's an exciting opportunity for the young families that want to move from that sort of Victorian cottage with the big fence. And then we have a fantastic apartment on the waterfront in a really tightly held building. Designed initially as a 4-bedroom, but opened up as a 3 with a corner position, water and city views, and that's going to be should be around $2 million or better.
Wow.
Again, we sold that property to the past owners 20 years ago.
Well,
so
you've been in the area now for 75 years. It's been a long time. Actually, you've been there for on the tools in Port Melbourne and surrounds for a bit close to. Is it getting close to 30?
I'd probably look as if I've been around for 30, but 24 years.
24 years. Yeah. Okay. So you are a bit younger than me.
Yeah, but it's a long time. But it's the great thing about it is just seeing all the change and the development, and just speaking to an agency who's going to be handling a big project in Fisherman's Bend, and they've called us for some assistance after our winning ways on the block. And I mean for the next 20 or 30 years we're going to be talking about another suburb. So we've got main Port Melbourne, old Port Melbourne, we've got Garden City, we've got Beacon Cove that was developed some 20 years ago, and now we've got Fisherman's Bend. So that's exciting from just not only from a sale point of view, but a rental point of view, and influx of more people into the area, and obviously the infrastructure that will support it.
It's pretty exciting. So I remember the days I used to ride my motorbike down Fisherman's Bend all the time. We had motorbike tracks there and everything, And now we've got the urbanisation of it happening, and so a lot of the commercial guys moving out to Mulgrave and wherever it might be. It's an amazing position. It is an amazing position. If you want to walk to work or, have beautiful afternoon walks, that's the place to be. It's a terrific spot. So, pressure on off-market sales. You get a lot of pressure?
Look, there is. I mean, at the moment, there are reasons to conduct something off-market, but look, with a lot of properties, we are bringing them on because there's so many more buyers than
demand
than properties, and so look, with competition, our job's to get the best price, and that's how you do it. So
So some of our areas, a lot of pressure on off-market sales, and usually where that comes from is a fairly nervous seller who they know their price and they just want to be in and out as quick as they can. So if you're dealing with any agents at the moment, don't underestimate the opportunity of an off-market sale. So get close to these guys.
Yeah.
And, there are a lot of people doing it. Rentals, what's happening?
Rental market extremely strong. So I mean we've had probably our best rental month for probably a couple of years.
Yeah.
So typically the demand is there, but very, very solid January, and we need more stock. Both apartments and houses.
Many buildings being finished this year?
Less cranes.
Yeah, they're running out.
Not in the older part of Port Melbourne. No, there's something on Johnson Street, but that will probably be 2018.
Yeah. Interesting. So that the urbanisation of over at the old industrial area will be the next hot area.
That's right.
Yeah. It's really interesting. Market's strong. Interest rates remain the same. All the talks about Trump, and is he going to beat us up in Australia? Our economy's pretty strong, so I think he'll want to be friends with us. They will want to trade with us. So I can't see too many things changing in the first quarter of this year.
No.
Demand, as you guys pointed out, is extremely strong, and if you are a seller, be confident. If you're a buyer, do some research and have a strategy and get close to these guys for their information.
Absolutely. Talking about research, one of the projects that Will and I have finished together with Vanessa and the rest of our team is a new website, portmelbourneapartments.com.au, and it's been designed as an information tool. So we had a crack at it quite a few years ago, and we look back at the old version now and have a bit of a laugh. But we had a sort of a map and glowing little Biggin and Scott icons, little flags where the particular apartment buildings were. But now we've designed a website which is a bit like some of the accommodation websites where you can put your demographics in.
Yeah, great.
Pet-friendly facilities, price range, and basically it brings up a short list of buildings that you should consider to buy or to rent at, and also it has recent sales. So, and you can actually register on that website. It's a really easy one to remember, portmelbourneapartments.com.au, and it's a good way of sorting out, we have over 100 buildings in Port Melbourne, so where do you start? That's a really good way of just going there, having a look. There's a lot of information: who's built the buildings, how many apartments, where they're located, what the car parking is like, and to maybe narrow a search from say 100 down to maybe 5 or 6 or 7. Then you concentrate on those builders. There's no right or wrong. There's no one building better than the other, but it really comes down to your situation and
information.
That's right.
It's information, right. And that's why I put in the newsletter I sent out this week. When the guys aren't open for inspections or listing a property, they're doing research, and we underestimate sometimes how much research we do.
Yes.
And we're happy to pass that on. It's difficult on the weekends. We won't be able to spend too much time with you at opens, but during the week, happy to help with research to give you a guide on where you sit, and that's really important. I think a lot of people forget that we have all of that information, and we're happy. We just like to help people. That's the job. So Port Melbourne's been hot for the last 20 years. It's just It's quite incredible. Apartments. So with the rental market really tight, sales demand is high. So are you finding a lot of owners move back into their properties if they've got investments at the moment, or?
Look, certainly, say some of the older buildings, like say in Biggin Cove, where we've managed those properties for 10, 15, 20 years.
Yep.
So they're out in the suburbs and the kids have finished school, they move back in. And so that property won't become available for sale or rental when they move in. So you certainly, having these situations, we were talking to a building manager before Christmas, and it's sort of, you can get really busy and sort of forget sort of what's happening in the micro level. But he said, do you realise that you were the only agent that sold an apartment in this building? And the building has 85 apartments. So that's just incredible. And that's, one of the older Biggin Cove towers. So, and we're seeing that. So, that's why we're so excited with some of the listings that we have. They're in buildings that the turnover has just dropped considerably. Yeah. And so we urge buyers to say, look, 20 years ago you could probably chop and choose and say, I want it facing this way, I want that colour granite. Just you got to buy, the right position, the right proportions. You certainly can't make the apartments any bigger. No. You can always change decor or fit out, but you just got to buy the space that you want to live in for the next 20 years in the right spot, with the right proportions.
That's always the challenge, isn't it?
Exactly.
So the market remains strong. One of the byproducts of having done the block, right?
Yes.
You guys, for any potential sellers watching, if you are a $2 to $3 million seller,
yes,
you guys would never have any more buyers than you have right now.
Absolutely.
Because you got so much publicity.
Yeah.
And that's, so you're finding that, so there's a frustration. People want to purchase, and they're drawn towards stock levels, and the more you advertise something, the more buyers you find. So pressure on for you guys at the moment to try and find things?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was interesting when those properties came to market. There was also a group of other properties that came to the market too in a similar price point. Yeah. And look, there was more buyers, and there always will be more buyers at this stage in the market for those types of properties. So, we're speaking to everybody all the time that we met back then. Yeah. I mean, that was middle of November now, and we're saying, well, hold in there. There's going to be some good properties coming up. Yeah, well, we can only hope. The conditions couldn't be better for selling, and and like I said, for the buyers, get your research and your strategy right, and the guys can help you. So I'm looking forward to a great year. It's been, I think it's been a good start. It has been.
Absolutely. We're pretty positive about it. Yeah,
we are.
Finished well and it started well. So
yeah. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks, guys. Thank you. We'll probably be sitting here again at the end of the month.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.